So you guys have seen and heard me talk about books day in and day out on this channel. It's like I can't talk about them enough. And honestly, today I'm reviewing the most impactful books that I've ever read, whether they were spirituality, business, motivation, sales, psychology, whatever it is. And what I'm figuring out is that a lot of people are in need of knowledge, and sometimes YouTube videos, they just can't provide that. And sometimes books won't give you necessarily more knowledge, but they'll give you a different perspective that shifts your way of thinking towards the goal or topic or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's why I like books. So I'm going to be reviewing the most impactful books that I've ever read in this video. Now, obviously I've read over 50 books, 60 at this point. I'm pretty sure most of them aren't here. I'm still moving stuff from my parents' house to the new place. So obviously it's not going to look perfect right now, but we're still bringing in books. So let's start off with one of the most impactful books that I've ever read. Now this is PsychoCybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. I'm pretty sure, I think the story goes he's a plastic surgeon. So he is sort of in like the facial reconstruction industry or whatever. And it turns out he had a lot of patients who struggled a lot with self-identity and self-image, and they didn't feel like that blockade could be fixed organically. There had to be some sort of cosmetic solution, some sort of thing in surgery that they had to undergo to actually adapt their self-image and turn away from the old self and sort of transform into a new person. And so we started coming up with thought exercises and different things to do that he would give his patients and clients. Let me put the thing back on my face, to where they could actually have a transformation without even undergoing the surgery. And so a lot of this talks about how to literally improve your self-image overnight, how to use your positive past to set goals and achieve worthwhile goals, develop compassion, self-respect, and forgiveness. Because he had a lot of patients who came in and were really struggling with their self-image. And so the biggest takeaway you're going to get from this book is understanding that whatever happened, simplest put, and you can reframe a lot of the negativity in your past or negativity that's happening right now and reframe it into a better light and position it as a new opportunity. It's something that helps you get to point B quicker rather than seeing it as an obstacle. And so whatever you're dealing with as far as self-identity wise, or you're really trying to reframe your structure of thinking, he really brings a scientific approach to it's more of like this than that. And so what everybody taught us is that obviously if you look a certain way, you don't fit the beauty standard, especially back then in the 60s and the 70s, there was a huge standard revolving around beauty. There was a huge standard revolving around different notions of who looks pretty. She looks prettier because she has this, or he looks more handsome because he has this. And he sort of crushes all of that in this book. That's what I like about it. So it's a little bit of an old school way of going about it, but it's a classic. It's amazing. Next one is Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. This one was extremely impactful to me because I remember seeing this when I was at Barnes & Noble's working. I hated that job. I worked for $11 an hour and I was getting the business up and running at the time. A lot of you guys already know my story. I'm going to say it 1,001 different times. I was getting the business up and running at this time when I was working at Barnes & Noble's, and I was really just trying to experiment with different business models and things like that. And I saw this on the shelves and I didn't pick it up until about a year and a half later. I actually just finished reading this a few months ago. And the one thing that this book really taught me, Expert Secrets, is that Brunson has done it. He sold, millions of dollars online. He sold millions of dollars in 60 minutes by doing launches, by selling people in a room. And he talks about why you have to build up the character and the brand yourself. The biggest thing and the biggest takeaway I got from this book is the simple fact that I have to create my hero's journey as if I'm already a hero. And in reality, you can get a lot of imposter syndrome thinking I'm not a hero, I'm not there yet. And obviously I'm not at the point in my business where I'm making 7 figures a month or anything cool like that just yet. But the entire idea is to construct your hero's journey and to construct your path of where you were, how you got there, and build epiphany bridges, is what he calls them, epiphany bridges along the way to close the gap for your customers, for your clients. Because eventually, the reason why the guys are in CMRR program is because you have heard my story. A lot of people resonate with me. I worked at Barnes & Noble's. I had issues getting clients. I came up with solutions to get clients. I was mentored by one of Hermose's old employees. I was in different coaching programs. I bought everything under the sun, and I finally built a product that fixes client acquisition. So everything from front end to lead nurture to sales, I built that in CMRR. And so a lot of you guys actually bought into the program because you've seen my YouTube videos, you've seen what I post, you see how I talk, you see what I'm about, you see what I like, we share common interests, and that is sort of the epiphany bridge of like, oh, he's done that. And it wasn't until, I realized that I had to build an all-encompassing product until I realized I could actually serve the masses. And so it's really about constructing your brand, how to shape your personal identity in business, because everybody has a lore, basically. Iman Gaji, like I talk about in my other videos, he has a lore too. Single mom, dad's out of the house, dad's gone, whatever it is, had to provide for his mom, started an agency, and it wasn't until he did XYZ then he could provide for his mom. He became rich overnight, whatever. So that's kind of the lore with Iman. And so next book I have is The Nuclear Effect. I actually finished reading this yesterday. It's by Scott Alford. I really like this book because it talks about how your business is just down to 6 pillars. And I don't know what the 6 pillars exactly were off the top of my head, but it's something like, I think it's marketing, sales, product fulfillment, or something like that. It's marketing, lead generation, sales, product, operation and teams, finances, and mindset. And so he really breaks it down into the reason why you're not at the place where you want to be with your business is because you're just missing one of the pillars. You don't have one of the pillars constructed. If it's sales and marketing, or if it's marketing, to be completely honest, marketing and lead generation, you're probably under 10K a month. And you have to focus all of your time, all of your energy into lead generation. I just got off the phone with one of the prospects in my pipeline a few days ago, and he goes, Patrick, I'm trying to build out this amazing program. I've been stressing about it for so long. I've been really trying to build out the amazing program, this fulfillment thing. Do you think course modules and coaching and then one-to-ones are good? Then I should hire out a CSM. And I said, look, how many clients do you have? He said 1. And I go, why are you building out a program that's wasting 95% of your time when you don't even have clients to serve that to? How do you know if it's even going to work? And he goes, good point. And so I said, look, you need to focus on lead generation and marketing. And obviously in CMR, we show all of this stuff, but I told him on the phone, because I give out free game to all my prospects and stuff, because I don't like to gatekeep. I said, just focus on lead generation, dude. The fulfillment side of things and the product will come as you get people in the door and as you understand what exactly it is that you want. Because I've built out entire programs, launched them, had a few clients come in, and it wasn't exactly what they needed. Then I had to tweak the entire program all over again just because of the fact that I was stupid enough to build out an entire program for clients that weren't even in the program before they even joined. You can't read their minds. You have to focus on front end. And so Scott Alford, really breaks it down into like, look, if you're not booking enough appointments, the only time you should be spending is on lead gen. If you're not booking in qualified leads and if you're not signing them out of the amount of clients that you want, it's because you just aren't having enough lead gen. Focus on the lead gen, run the paid ads, make content, do outreach, whatever it is. And so that's what he kind of helped me understand, at least throughout the entire book. So I'm reading The Power of Intention right now by Wayne Dwyer, I think it is. So I'm not going to talk about that. Last book I'm going to talk about, you guys, is one of the most impactful books that I've actually ever read. I've made YouTube videos about this one so many different times. This is really what helped me go from $0 to making $14,000 within 4 weeks of launch. This is what helps me book in those 70 qualified appointments almost every single month. This is what helps me really get to the point where I'm at right now and beyond. And I know for a fact that the techniques in reality transurfing and the techniques in this book are going to make me extremely wealthy. Just for a fact, I already know that. Reality transurfing, biggest takeaway from this book is it's hard. It's hard to put it in sort of a topic of discussion. I would say the biggest thing reality transurfing gives you is it opens your lens into believing and thinking that whatever you want can happen in a way that's true. And you just have to position your subconscious mind to actually believing that you deserve the thing and program your subconscious mind into believing that if you take the daily actions and repetitions, different doors and windows and latches will open up along the way to get you to your desired state. So you might be at point A right now, just a very clear example. You might be at point A, you're booking 0 appointments, you have no clients, and you're wondering how you're going to hit your first $10,000 or $11,000 a month. First of all, I would tell you to shoot higher. Shoot for $100,000 a month because you still fall short, but it'll probably be higher than $10,000 a month. Second thing is, what actions can you spend 80% of your time doing that's going to make the most result? And so if you focus 80% of your effort on 20% of the detailed results that are going to get you that exponential growth, what does that look like? So if you're not booking enough appointments, all your time should be focused on creatives and paid ads And if you don't have the financials for paid ads, the capital for paid ads, it should be on outbounds, cold outbounds, Twitter, X, whatever it is, LinkedIn, Instagram, email, calls, whatever it is, whatever cold platform you're using, focus your time and energy on that. Stop focusing on the sales side of things. Stop focusing on your sales script. Stop focusing on taking this other course, joining this other program. You know what you have to do. You just need to do it. And the answer lies in the boring work. When I wasn't booking in any appointments, I said, why am I not booking any appointments? Because I'm not in front of any eyeballs. Okay, cool. How do I get in front of eyeballs? Run paid ads, sit out cold DMs. That's it. And so I did that. Then I booked in those appointments. Then I said, I'm signing clients. I'm having issues with my sales call rate or my close rate. And so then I honestly worked on the scripts. I reviewed all my sales calls with Fathom AI. I noticed what I was doing wrong, and then I just kind of went from there. And then it became a matter of, okay, well, people are actually entering in the program, but then I'm having issues fulfilling them. Okay, cool. Let's ask every single client right now what they're most struggling with and what would help them out the most. And then let's cater the program towards that. And so each step of the way you go and you track and you tread and you fight your way through it, but you have to start off with step number one. And that's why I would advise anybody to start off with the sales and marketing and focus on the lead gen. Now, as far as business aside and things like that, this book gives you very actionable and practical advice to get to your desired state, to get to your goal. Now, in this video, or in this book, he talks about slide techniques. So a slide technique is running through a 4 or 5 second clip of a slide through your head. Obviously, it's gonna be positive, of you and your desired state. And then it's everything that you're gonna do in the meantime to bridge the gap. And then you'll notice that when you actually spend the time bridging the gap, when you spend the time actually doing the things to get you closer to your desired goal, outer intention is what he calls it. Outer intention starts to close the gap. And you start to, instead of chasing your goal begins to become attracted to you, and you become kind of a magnet. And so as you're moving in the direction, think about it as you're moving through kind of a dark alley. You're walking through a dark alley with a magnet vest on. And there's a lot of magnets in the dark alley that are just immersed in the air. I don't know how to say that are just lingering in the air. And so as you're walking through with the magnet vest, you're attracting all of the nails, all of the screws, all the other things that are attracted to magnets. You're attracting them onto your vest as you're walking through. But if you stop, you don't attract them anymore because you're just dead in your tracks, and then they're just here. But when you keep moving down the dark alley, I'm obviously using an analogy. You have a huge, magnet vest on. As you're walking through, you're attracting all those things because you're taking the actionable steps towards your goal. Now, obviously, anybody can say that, well, yeah, when you take action towards your goal, you're only going to hit it, and you're bound to hit it. That's true, but that doesn't compensate for outer intention. Outer intention is the things that happen that line up with your frequency because you actually are walking towards your goal. And so opportunities, doors, and different things will happen in your life just because of the simple fact that you are actually walking and taking the steps. And regardless of how much you think that isn't real, it's a factor, 110%. Things start to line up in your life when you take the next step forward. Things start to happen effortlessly when you can show yourself and show the outside world that you're capable of taking the steps to actually hit your goal. And then your goal starts to become closer to you. And so it might sound heebie-jeebie, it might sound kind of weird, you just have to read the book. With that being said, the topics that have gotten me to the place where I'm at, very consistent uploads on YouTube, writing the business, taking qualified sales calls, signing 2 to 3 clients a week, building out CMRR, doing all those free audits, having all the free trainings, all that stuff is just based off the amount of books that I've read and the implementations and knowledge that I've shared. And so my entire goal with this YouTube video is to show you guys that if you take the time to build the foundation of just building the habits of even reading 30 or 40 pages a day, nothing crazy, you can be in a much better position in your life. And you might not believe me, but I'm telling you, just try it. Just try it. If you read a book or two and you absolutely hate it, that's cool. Start taking the action then. With whatever it is that you want to do, start taking the desired action, and I promise you, you will get to the point where you want to be in a much better place. So for me, when I was doing door-to-door sales, after I was reading the books, I was like, this is going to make me a lot of money. Did door-to-door sales, I didn't even last. It was terrible. I hated it. I absolutely failed. And so I realized that that wasn't good for me. And I think that it was at the moment where the guy was at the door and then he shut his blinds in front of my face to where I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I knocked on the door and he looked at me and I looked at him And then I think I waved him over here. I was like, over here. And he just shut the blinds. Then I was kind of like, yeah, I don't want to talk to anybody that doesn't want to talk to me. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. So I basically shut myself off. I could have gotten good at it, but I did stop because it was not the right avenue for me. It just wasn't. And so with that being said, you guys have to understand what is the right avenues for you. So pick up the books, pick up The Nuclear Effect, read Expert Secrets, read PsychoCybernetics, read all these different books, get acquainted with the knowledge that's already out there and familiarize yourself with the different topics. And I promise you, you will be in a much better position than you're at right now. Hope this video helped. Got a free client acquisition audit down below if you want your business audited, client acquisition systems audited. Also have a free training down below. I'll see you guys in the next one.